will do the online section of Standard 7 Subject English, Unit 2, Subunit 2.7, Great Scientists. Great scientists are persevering. Persevering means hardworking and never deterred by difficulties. Deterred means discouraged. That is, great scientists always hardworking and never discouraged by any of the difficulties. Michael Faraday is regarded as one of the most distinguished means famous scientists and inventors of modern times, and his work on electricity is still a subject of study in the form of Faraday's laws. But few know his inspirational life story. Inspirational means encourage or making you feel you want to do something, which is all about courage and fighting against the odds. So let's see what is actual life story of Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday was born into a poverty-stricken means extremely poor family in a dirty London suburb. Suburb means an area outside the town or city, mostly residential. He suffered from a speech defect as a child. So he was facing a speech defect. He would pronounce rabbit as wabbit. He could not even say his own name and would call himself Faraday. Other children laughed at him and the teachers never helped either. So children were laughing, plus the teacher was also not supporting. When he was 12, his mother was forced to take him out of school. So unfortunately, the mother forced and took him out from the school, thus putting an end to his formal education. So finally, end to formal education. At 13, however, he started working with a bookbinder. So at the age of 13, he was working with the bookbinder, binding hundreds of books during the day and staying up all the night to read them. So he was spending all the day working, and at night he was reading the book. Reading thus became his obsession. Obsession means the state of being preoccupied with someone or something. One day he came across a book on electricity which had been sent to his master for binding. So it was sent by his master for binding. He started reading it and was completely hooked. Hook means addicted. That was his first introduction to the subject of electricity, which soon became a lifelong fascination. Fascination means passion. Faraday was still poor at 21. Once, a friend gave him a free ticket to a public lecture and demonstration by the renowned chemist, renowned means famous, Humphrey Davy at London's Royal Institution. Davy's work on chemicals and electrical lighting was the subject of conversation among the scientists of that age. 70 years later, across the Atlantic Ocean in the USA, the same work enabled Thomas Edison produce the first consistent light bulb. Consistent means done in the same way over time. At the age of 21, there was a turning point. One of his friends gave him a free ticket demo lecture of Humphrey Davy at London's Royal Institution. So Humphrey Davy is the one who always used to give lectures demo on chemicals and electrical lighting. So this was the golden opportunity. Faraday didn't want to miss it. 70 years later, across the Atlantic Ocean in USA, the same work was enabled Thomas Edison to produce the first consistent light bulb. That day in 1812, Faraday was spellbound by Davy's lecture. Spellbound means hold complete attention of someone as though by magic. He kept taking notes about the mysterious force of electric fields. He was so engrossed. Engrossed means so interested in something that you give it all your attention in the lecture that he forgot to applaud with the rest of the crowd. So rest of the crowd was applauding and he was just totally focusing on Faraday's lecture. When he went back, his notes were so comprehensive. Comprehensive means exhaustive, that he bound them into a book, meaning to gift it to Davy someday. So he had a very strong intention that whenever he will meet Davy, he is going to gift him that. So Faraday decided that day that he did not just want to sell books, he wanted to be a great scientist, good enough to write his own book. So he has decided now that he wanted to be a scientist. Davy became his role model. So Davy was his role model. He was very much inspired by Davy. But there was a problem. He did not have the social status, money, or the education to pursue science. Pursue means follow. Faraday thought it would be wonderful if Davy became his mentor. Mentor means an experienced and trusted advisor. But Davy did not agree initially. Faraday was not dejected. He just kept trying. Dejected means sad. Faraday wanted to be a scientist, but social status, money, education was a problem for him. And again, he wanted Davy to be his mentor, but initially, what happened? Davy did not agree. Destiny had a strange plan in store for him. A few years later, a chemical explosion happened in Davy's lab, and he was temporarily blinded. So because of this explosion, Davy was blinded. He now needed an assistant with an excellent memory to help him. He needed an assistant. That time he reminded of Faraday and decided to hire him as his secretary. Hire means obtain the temporary use of someone, something, for an agreed payment. Then Davy never believed Faraday could do anything in the field of science going by his social status and education, as his social status was not good and education Faraday didn't had. He therefore dismissed Faraday's aspiration and advised him to stick to bookbinding. Aspiration means a hope of achieving something. So David told that you stick to the bookbinding only. But Faraday was relentless. Relentless means persistent. He worked day and night and learned as much as he could about Davy's experiment. So soon Faraday became indispensable to Davy and was promoted to his lab assistant. So he got a promotion as a lab assistant. This was the first step towards a scientific career. Though much of his job now was cleaning the labs. What was his job? Cleaning the labs. At least he got to see some of Davy's leading experiments because he got the opportunity to work in the lab. So he got a golden opportunity to look to the leading experiments of Davy. Even then, Davy did not have much hope for Faraday. Then Faraday got another chance to prove himself. Let's see what is the other chance. One day, Davy tried to recreate means create again, a famous electromagnetism experiment with a fellow chemist, William Wollaston, exploring why when an electric current is applied to a wire, it causes that wire to behave like a magnet. So they were trying for an experiment. Obviously, the forces were connected, but nobody had figured how to make it happen continuously. So it was not possible to find out that how to make it happen continuously. David believed that if he could find out why it happened and control it, so if it was possible to know why it happened and how we could control, there could be many practical application of the force. But he was unable to figure it out and was frustrated. Frustrated means feeling or expressing an annoyance resulting from an inability to change something. That is, he was not able to do that. He was not successful in that experiment, so he was very frustrated. He then teased Faraday. How is teasing Faraday? Asking him to try his hand that up, but it after he was done cleaning the lab. You also try this. He was teasing Faraday that you also try it, but after doing all your lab work. Within a few days, Faraday solved the problem. In fact, he went further and the result was the first induction motor which converted electrical current into continuous mechanical motion. Faraday could solve the problem within few days. So Faraday came up with induction motor for the first time. Induction motor spurred a revolution. Spurred means encourage someone to do something. Fans, air conditioning, sewing machine, photographs, power tools, cars, and even trains and aeroplane engines grew out of this simple device, which was born out of mockery directed at Faraday. So this simple device was born out of mockery. Mockery means teasing or making fool out of someone. Faraday became a celebrity scientist overnight. Nobody now cared about his social status or education. This young man had just created a revolution. So now no one was bothered about the social status or education. So overnight he became famous. One would think as a teacher, Davy was happy at his pupils' achievement. Achievement means the thing done successfully with effort. So anyone will think that the teacher was happy. But in reality, he was jealous. People started telling Davy that all of his discoveries, so all were passing the comment, was telling to Davy that of all the discoveries, the best was Faraday himself. This made him even more jealous. And angry Davy gave Faraday an impossible task to keep him out of his way. So to keep him out of his way, he gave him a work which was just impossible. He handed him a piece of Bavarian glass which was used in the lenses in telescopes and microscopes and asked him to reverse engineer it. Meaning of reverse engineer, taking apart an object and analyzing its components and working in detail. So it was very difficult. I'll complete the lesson very soon.